Alright, at this point I've shown you how to find the slope and how to find the y-intercept given either a line, a graph, or maybe even 2 points. What we're going to do in this video here is graph slope-intercept form, and that's that y equals mx plus b that we referred to earlier. Now remember, m still stands for slope and the b still stands for the y-intercept. So we're going to be graphing some equations here. So the first one we have is y equals 2x plus 3. And I want to graph this equation. The first thing we're going to need to do in order to graph this is find its y-intercept. Now in this case, that y-intercept is positive 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my graph paper and I'm going to find positive 3 on my y-axis. Because remember, we're calling this the y-intercept. So that y-intercept is right here. That's the y-intercept. Next thing we're going to need to find is the slope, which in this case is 2. However, because we define slope as rise over run, we're going to need to make this a fraction. And since 2 is not a fraction, we're going to make it a fraction simply by putting a 1 underneath it. Now notice that 2 and 2 over 1 still represent the same thing. So we got a slope of 2 over 1. Which means from that y-intercept of 3, we're going to rise 2, then we're going to run 1. So here we go. From that blue point, that y-intercept, we're going to go up 2 and over 1. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go up 2 and over 1. I'll do it one more time. I'm going to go up 2 and over 1. Now, I could get some more points over here on the other side by reversing the pattern, and instead of going up 2 and 1 to the right, I can go down 2 and 1 to the left. I'll do that again. Go down 2, 1 to the left. Down 2, 1 to the left. Down 2, 1 to the left. Notice that I'm going to keep that same pattern going. This way all my points are going to line up in a nice straight line. So I'm going to go down 2, 1 to the left. Down 2, 1 to the left. Now notice all these points that I've made line up in a nice straight line. So all I'm going to do now is connect all of these points. And I now have the graph of y equals 2x plus 3. So this line represents the equation y equals 2x plus 3. Notice how its y-intercept is at 3. And notice how the slope of this line is also 2, or 2 over 1. Alright, here's our next example. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. First thing we're going to do is start by finding the y-intercept. And that y-intercept is going to be at 4. That's this value right here. This is where I'll be starting from. The next thing I'm going to look for in my equation is the slope. And the slope for this one is negative 1/2. Again, slope is defined as rise over run. Therefore, in this case, because it's a negative, what we're going to do is we're going to go down 1, and then we're going to go over 2 to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and do that from my y-intercept. I'm going to go down 1, 2 to the right. And I'm going to repeat this process so that I get more dots, because the more dots I have, the more accurate my line is going to be. I'm going to go down 1, 2 to the right. 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 Notice all my dots are lining up in a nice straight line. Now I'm going to get some more dots over here on the left side by reversing the pattern. Instead of going down 1 and 2 to the right, I'm going to go up 1 and 2 to the left. Up 1, 2 to the left. Up 1, 2 to the left. I can continue with this pattern, and all my dots should line up in a nice straight line. Now that I have all of these dots, I'm going to connect them. And I now have the graph of y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Notice how this line has a y-intercept of 4. Notice that it also goes down 1 and over 2. So this again is the graph of y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Next example we have is y equals 1/3 x minus 2. We're going to start by finding the y-intercept. And the y-intercept on this equation is negative 2. So I'll be starting right here at negative 2. Next thing I'm going to need to find is my slope. In this case, that slope is 1/3. Remember, slope is defined as rise over run, which means in this case we're going to be going up 1 and then over 3. Rise 1, run 3. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go up 1, 3 to the right. Up 1, 3 to the right. Up 1, 3 to the right. If we do this correctly, all the dots should be lining up. I'm going to reverse the patterns and get some more points. I'm going to go down 1, 3 to the left, down 1, 3 to the left, down 1, 3 to the left. Once again, notice how all the dots are lining up in a nice straight line. Connect all of these dots, and I now have the graph of y equals 1/3 x minus 2. Notice this line has a y-intercept of -2. Notice it also has a slope of 1/3. It goes up 1 and over 3. Okay, the next example we have is y equals x. In order to graph this, the first thing I need, just like all the others, is the y-intercept. Now notice there is no value after the x, therefore the y-intercept for this equation is 0. So we'll be starting right here at 0. The next thing I'm going to need to find is my slope. That's the value in front of the x. Now you may say, well, there is nothing in front of the x. Well, there is. You just don't see it. It's a value of 1. However, because we define the slope as rise over run, we're going to make that 1 a fraction by writing it as 1 over 1. So the slope of this line is 1 over 1. So from my y-intercept, all I'll be doing is going up 1 and then over 1. Up 1 and over 1. Up 1 and over 1. So I'm going to continue with this pattern because the more dots I have, the more accurate my line is. I'll go ahead and get some other dots over here on the left side by going down 1, 1 to the left. Down 1, 1 to the left. Again, the more dots I have, the more accurate my line is. So if I connect all of these dots, I now have the graph of y equals x. This line has a y-intercept of 0, and it also has a slope of 1. Now this particular graph is very important. We call this our parent function, and we'll be discussing that a little bit more later on. But again, this is called the parent function.